Hi, ladies. Welcome back to the Experiential Anatomy Pelvic Floor Month. We are joined by two doctors and pelvic floor enthusiasts, Dr.Charisse Balance and Dr. Theresa Pulickal.
You got it.
I'm Lizzie Lassiter. So today what I wanted to talk about is poop. Well, not poop itself, but the act of going to the bathroom. So when I asked Mary Richards, our fearless collaborator in experiential anatomy, I asked Mary Richards for some questions and she's also a yoga therapist. I asked her for some questions that she would love to ask the two of you. And one of the questions she wrote back is, do you have an opinion about seated postural adjustments for elimination? Or can you please share some secrets for happy pooping?
Wow.
So let's talk about it. This is what can you share with us? What can we learn?
Well, I have an awesome contraption called the Squatty Potty, and I love it. And Charisse was over last week and just raved about how much she enjoyed pooping on my toilet.
So what does it do essentially? How does it shift the position of your body?
It puts your knees up at a higher level, and you could totally use yoga blocks or anything really, step stools. It gets you back into that primitive pose of really just getting down there without having to push, like how babies poo in the corner when they're hiding from you. The pubal rectalis has a small kink in your colon, which is functional because it helps you hold in your bowel. But to relax that is sometimes a technique that in this vata deranged, to quote Judith Lassiter, vata deranged world, you forget to relax a little bit. And that if you're in a rush, you might not relax all the way and end up pushing. And we all know that pushing's not the best thing, but relaxing that and putting your knees above your hips in that position can really help you relax that area and just let that slide out.
So I know those toilets from India, like that proper squat toilets where you just stand and then you're in a full like malasana, you're in a squat. So is this adjustment, this Squatty Potty product, are you actually standing on your feet or are you still sitting on the toilet?
You're still sitting on the toilet with this, and it has like the little footprints where you put your feet on, and they're up higher than your knees are higher than your hips, basically.
Okay. So you're in this position. You're not standing with weight on your feet, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
I haven't tried it standing with weight on my feet. That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. I only know it from Asia. Yeah. Charisse, what do you have to add?
I was going to say, maybe Theresa can bring out her Squatty Potty so everybody can see what it looks like.
I do have it. Okay, one moment.
Yeah, go get it. I'm going to just put you on mute because it'll be bangy. Charisse, what do you have to share with us?
Well, I learned one of our teachers gave us a great, cheap solution to this. Wear high heels. Wear high heels in the toilet or when you're going potty. As long as your heels or your knees are higher than your hips, you're good. But this Squatty Potty is great. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
There it is.
So it just looks like that. And then to maybe turn it up. Yeah. So it goes around the toilet. Okay. So it's like a step stool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like, see the picture?
Yeah. Okay, so as physical therapists, what are some of the common misconceptions or what are you kind of working with or against in your pelvic floor practice in terms of elimination? Like what are we So this is a positional, what else is going on there that you want to share?
There's a lot of stuff like diet. People need to pay attention to their diet. What's their fiber intake? Are they drinking enough water? Starting to work in this field, you realize that it's not just muscles are very important, but it's like, what are we doing? We're trying to hold all the stuff that we eat, and what are we eating? So diet is also important. What you're drinking is also important, so.
True.
So paying attention to that. Are you able to relax? You know, one of our teachers, Nari Clemens, has a CD, and it's a meditation for pooping, and it helps you relax and just visualize your pelvic floor. It's like it's basically a meditation, the muscle relaxation. Yeah. Mary Clemens.
Isn't that wild?
Not Mary Clemens, Nari Clemens.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. What anything else you want to add? I want to ask you guys, it's a bit of a sideways segue, but before we close, I want to ask you about trauma and the pelvic floor, sexual trauma. So what are some of the things that yoga teachers specifically, is there anything that we could know or do differently when we work with students, not really knowing their trauma history, of course, in an open class? Are there any sort of moves in yoga asanas that we should be careful of, or what's your kind of thinking around that area?
Well, I love that you brought that up, because during Judith's class, it was so amazing. She was so considerate, and I love the way that she trained everyone in the class to just say, "May I touch?" And you could say no, and that's okay. And I won't, and I'll go to someone. And I loved how she was just open with that. And I think that being a yoga teacher and a person that's, you know, leading a class and joining in this class, and maybe you want to offer some cues, just asking, "May I touch? You know, can I honor your space and may I touch?" Or may I give you a recommendation? And if someone says no, take it as that. That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to give them a recommendation at the time. Another thing that I find really interesting is, I know Judith goes in a lot about the tucking of the sacrum, and at some point, I wonder, how is that related to someone's protective mechanism? I mean, we see like animals in the wild tuck their tails, and they're like hiding their genitals for fear for one reason or another. And I feel like we're just big animals. So maybe there's a reason that person is tucking. And I don't think, you know, it's our job to tease that out. Why are you tucking? And if you want to give them a cue of, oh, untuck your sacrum or untuck your tailbone, and if they don't respond to it, that's okay. You know, move on. There might be a reason why, and it's not our job to get into the reason why, but let it be, you know, let it resonate with that person for a while.
What do you think, Charisse?
Yeah, I like that you brought that up, Theresa. Like if you're teaching a yoga class and you notice that somebody is tucking their tailbone and stands with a posture of, you know, posterior pelvic tilt, it's not your job as a yoga teacher to ask them what happened, you know, but like we're told, just assume everybody has some sort of sexual trauma. Don't assume that, oh yeah, it's okay, I can touch this person in this way or talk to this person in this way. You know, you don't know what that body and that vessel has been through. So just being very respectful and just assuming that everybody is like your mom says, like a scared horse, you know, like just be very cautious and mindful around your words and your cues and your touch, because you just don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, when I started teaching, I first thought, like, my inner teenager was like, oh, how dorky and stupid to say, "May I touch you?" before you touch everyone in yoga. But now what I really feel is that it's not just for the student I'm interacting with. I think that's valuable. That if I say to you, Charisse, "May I touch you?" and we have this interaction. But what I also have found is there's a second layer, which is so valuable, is that it signals to everyone else in the room that I'm going to be really mindful of your space. And so, especially, I teach mostly restorative, especially in that context where I'm asking people to lie down, give up control, close their eyes, cover their eyes, make themselves really vulnerable in their body position. And then they know, because they've heard me do it to other people, that I'm not going to come up and touch them in the middle of the pose without asking. And I think that's like a really second layer that we're cueing we're not just talking to the student we're talking to when we talk to them, we're also talking to the whole class in terms of the energy we're creating.
Absolutely. And I love that you bring that up. And also, you know, giving the student the out,
Yeah.
you know, saying it's okay to say no, because especially if you're a teacher and,
Yeah.
and like, you know, this student has followed you for whatever, you know, and they just want to please you sometimes, you know, they'll say yes, but they don't mean yes. So saying it's okay to say no, and that's totally fine and normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I really encourage my yoga students and myself. It's a motto I use in my life that I have to continue to remind myself. No is a complete sentence.
Absolutely. I love that.
Because I think especially as women, I don't know, I notice I have the tendency to say no I feel an immediate sense of guilt in saying no. And then I want to explain why I'm saying no, as opposed to just saying no. No, like.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, ladies. Such a joy to spend time with you talking about this. Anything you want to add before we close this mini episode?
May your intuition and pelvic floor be strong.
And I got this from your mom, Lizzie, but trust yourself first.
Oh, yes. Love
trust
it.
Yourself first. And if you know somebody's going to give you an adjustment and it doesn't feel right, trust yourself. Even though they say this is how the alignment's supposed to be, trust yourself.
Yeah, that's where we got into a lot of trouble in the first place.
Right.
All right. Tell us where we can find you on the internet.
I am at Holistic Approach Therapy on Facebook and at Holistic Approach Therapy on Instagram. And I have a website, www.holisticptsandiego.com.
Perfect. Okay, Charisse, where can we find you?
And I'm Balanced Physio Yoga on Instagram and balancedphysioyoga.com.
Perfect. I'm Lizzie Lassiter on Instagram.com, and more videos like this, you're going to find us at www.experientialanatomy.yoga. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.